I'm a huge fan of the Insidious franchise since first
Oh,
part of
thank
it.
you.
What have you learned going through every single script?
What have I learned?
Yeah.
Well,
Use Courier 12. No.
yeah. Times New Roman for the. I've learned that it's hard to scare people, and it's hard to come up with new ways to do that. You know, without relying on hacky tropes. And maybe there's a large contingent of critics out there who might say the Insidious movies do rely on hacky tropes, but each to their own. It's all subjective. I push myself in the writing process to come up with things that are a little different, things that we haven't done before in the franchise, and I put myself in the shoes of the paying customer, the person who goes and buys a ticket to this movie and wants to be scared. I want to give them a good night at the movies. I want them to go to bed that night and leave the, bedside lamp on. That's what I consider to be my job, and I take a lot of pride in and a lot of care with it. So I've learned that it's very tough to keep coming up with new ideas and new ways to scare people.
This film especially has a very different pace and connection with the audience. What was it like directing it, and what was it like coming up with this concept of Lin Shaye's character at least coming back and telling her backstory?
I quickly realized I can't do what these guys do, and I was trying to do, in my mind was when I was prepping the movie was, what would James and Leigh do just aesthetically, and then the prologue itself is such a different kind of, like stepping into a different movie for a moment, and so what I love that you've sort of thrown into this almost a storybook kind of quality to the nostalgic past in a way, and but in terms of the mechanics of scares, there's only so many ways to skin a cat, and so if you're invested in the moment and the drama that's happening on screen, then the scares typically work.
There's a lot of comedy in this, and I thought that was really interesting because the pace goes with the comedy beats. Was that difficult to write into the script, or did it just come naturally?
It kind of goes with the characters. The character that Angus Sampson and I play, characters that we play, are kind of these bumbling guys, and they're kind of this comic foil to Elise, who really, knows what she's doing and doesn't have a lot of fear, and so I kind of just let them do their thing, At this point, they're an element of the films that the audience is familiar with and hopefully is affectionate about. So I try not to tip the balance of comedy. It's a horror film at the end of the day. It's not a horror comedy. So what I'm really going for is a scary movie that happens to have, maybe a few funny lines in there. But I never want to tip the balance in favor of comedy. So,
and Leigh and Angus are hilarious at improvisation, and they're old friends, and so they get on set, and then stuff just starts to happen, and you just start rolling cameras, and it's they can run with it.
One of the things that I really enjoy about the horror genre, and I think it's very underappreciated, you mix in the psychology of it, mythology, you have some philosophy in there, everything all mixes together and unites. Doesn't matter what age you are, what religion, what race, it all unites. Do you consider all that when you go into writing a script?
Yeah, in a way I do. I mean, when I wrote the first film, what I really liked about it was that it took this astral projection angle. I always want to examine what is different about a screenplay I'm writing. Okay, so you're essentially writing a supernatural ghost story, but what is the angle on it that you have that's different than what's been done before? And for James Wan and I, we liked the astral projection angle and the idea that you could leave your body and go into this other realm and maybe never come back. And you can kind of wrap a haunted house story around that. And so I've been very conscious of that with all the films, I never wanted to make the films too, Judeo-Christian or lean on Christianity. A lot of horror films, when they're dealing with demons and astral planes, they take the approach of exorcisms and Christianity, fighting it with Christianity, whether it's a priest or somebody using a crucifix or a Bible. We never really did that with the Insidious films. We wanted to keep them fairly neutral in terms of belief systems and religion. So, as you said, you can sort of see yourself within the film and enjoy it no matter where you're from or what your belief system is.
Yeah, I thought that's very universal of it, and I think most horror films do that, but not as well as Insidious has. There's so many elements of it that even I can see myself going through.
Right.
Do you take a lot of things from your own personal life and to put into this film, or is it different?
You can astral project, right?
Yeah, I can astral project. I'm astral projecting right now. I'm talking.
Here.
Actually, I'm in and out in Hollywood right now. It's really good.
Animal stuff.
Betcha, baby. Where was I? Oh, yes. I think your own life ends up bleeding into screenplays, whether you like it or not. I mean, you sort of have to use yourself as the compass for all sorts of characters. Even if you're writing about whether it's a woman in her 70s or a Belgian truck driver, whatever the character is in that screenplay, you're using yourself as this moral compass and emotional compass for the character. So you do end up drawing from these scenarios in your life, and the great thing about Insidious, I've found, is that I really know the characters well. The character of Elise and Specs and Tucker, I feel like they're old friends now. And it's fun to write in a voice that when you already know what a character would say, that's a real gift to a screenwriter. And that's what's great about writing for Lynn. I actually find that a lot of Lynn Shay herself has bled into the character.
Absolutely.
At this point, Adam and I would always say, at this point, we don't know where Elise starts and Lynn stops. Like, there's just the character and the actor sort of bleed into each other. And I've used a lot of Lynn's mannerisms and quirks in the character. And she responds to that. And there's sort of this kind of weird amalgam of person and character.
And she's so grateful for the role. I mean, she lived this. She worked so hard in this movie, and for months before was getting into character and just going a deep dive into her backstory. And although she had a whole other backstory, she's like, "What? I have a brother."
Yeah,
I thought I was like an only child.
She did for the first Insidious film. She wrote out the backstory of her character. It's just something she does as an actor, and so when I presented her with the script for this film, she said, "No, this doesn't match up with what I came up with." I had to pull rank on her on that one.